Hi, Mama. Good to see you.
So
We
good to
get
see
you.
you.
Oh my God, the movie was fabulous. As you know, I think I haven't stopped posting about it.
Thank
Finally, we were doing this. Very exciting. So, uh, what were, when did you both share with each other that you were going to be in the movie together, and what was your reaction?
I feel like you Instagram messaged me, but it was kind of cryptic.
It was
Like,
so cryptic. I was like,
hey.
hey, you in for the West Side Story movie?
I was like, I don't know. Like, well, because I was cast and then I couldn't tell anyone. So I was very like cryptic about everything with everyone, which was actually really hard because if I would have wanted to tell someone, I would have called her.
100%. Well, and that was the thing too, is because like I kind of found out in a really weird way that I had gotten it very early too, like prior to final callbacks. So we were like weirdly in the same boat of like, I was like, so like, I like want to tell you something, but I
But
can't.
I can't tell you, but like, cool, cool. Maybe we're doing this thing, and yay, it was great.
Yeah, because I think like both of us had put together too, obviously with like the two roles that we were in for, we were like, so like there like might be a chance we like do a dance battle, like maybe,
Mhm.
So you were
maybe.
very coy about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when did you finally connect and celebrate that moment?
I think we didn't fully celebrate until like the first day of rehearsals. Walking in, it was like so special because, Paloma and I, when I first came to New York City, I was like, we met in dance class, and at Steps and Broadway Dance Center, and like that's how we really got to know each other. And we were starting this process in a dance studio. So it felt like the culmination of both of our journeys, like really hoofing it and pounding the pavement, and to walk into a dance studio with one of my best girls, knowing that we were going on this epic journey. It just felt really special. And I'm pretty sure I just like grabbed her hand, squeezed her really hard, and tried not to cry. It's
Fully.
great.
Yeah, it was, and that's exactly like how I felt about it too, was just like it's where we come from, it's where we know each other from. And then just to share that moment, like how often, getting to do a show with a friend is something, but we've never even gotten to do a Broadway show together. So it's kind of one
Right.
of those things that for us to have our first real gig together be something like this, and
Yeah.
especially stepping in, because I had come into rehearsal so much later because like we started dance at the gym rehearsals so late in the process. So it was kind of one of those things like walking into that room and knowing we were going to have that moment. And then like that week and a half that we worked on that was just like bliss. Like we would just giggle. Like we had this on running joke of us just being like fully like, I was like, I'm your biggest fan. Like we're supposed to be like mean to each other, but we were just totally like, I love your work. You're the
Love
best.
your work. You look great. Yeah.
So how did you channel that? You're such good friends. How did you channel your rivalry as, Gratz and Anita going head to head, when you're such good friends?
I think it was kind of fun to like have this like coy, slightly competitive nature. It definitely it raised the stakes for dance at the gym in a really fun way. But it was also it was the way we found our path through the material. And like Paloma said, to be able to be like, you look great, and now I'm gonna go do my dance moves and barakata. But I also think, just skipping ahead, like our friendship really came into play during that candy store scene at the end of the film. I was really, really hoping it would make the final edit, and it did. But you get the opportunity to see Graziella actually come to Anita's, aid, and that's something the '61 film didn't do. And I think it's such a beautiful thing to see women fighting for each other. To see someone say, you know what, we are massively different. And like Paloma and I are, we are very different individuals, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to stand up for you and fight for you. And it was so nice, number one, to have her on set that day. I was really glad she was in the scene because I needed a little support, put it that way.
Yeah, I think, and that's the thing about it too, right? Is like, it's not like they're like arch nemesis, like, or anything like that. So I think in Dance at the Gym, we were able to play into like a really fun competitive nature with each other of being like, look what I can do, look what you can do. Oh, you think you did that so great. Watch me. Like, look at me was more of like the vibe there. But then
Yeah.
again, later there's just this moment. I think that's what's so beautiful about the film is you know, the females in this film have such a different level of empowerment and power in our telling of it. And so it kind of really does wrap around to that end moment. Cause again, you know, when you come into that candy store, that whole scene takes such a shift, but there's no beat where Gratz wouldn't be there for you in
Yeah.
that. And so it's like
Once
that.
things really get real, like there was not a moment where Graziella didn't have the balls to go and do what needed to be done. So
Yeah, because we're dealing with two strong women. And again, I think that reflects so deeply in our friendship, right? Exactly. We are so different. We're so strong in like our own rights, but like we're always those calls for each other. Like Ari's my first call when I'm like, I have news to share. If like life, personal, love, career, any of it, like that's my call. So it's like, it's fun that we share that bond and that, you know, how
it
that
was a
gets.
credit to the film. Like I actually really believe that it was a credit to making these characters even more tangible, you know?
Yeah.
What is the advice, Paloma, that you seek from Ari when you do call her?
So many things. Um, You know, I don't think in this business, I have had a, you know, there's obviously all of these different, you know, there's not a lot of female bonds and friendships of deep support that I have found in this industry. I always find there's like this competitive nature, and we are starting to change that. I feel like our generation is really changing that narrative. But for me, when Ari's just always been there for me for everything. I mean, I seek help in, you know, strength in decisions that I'm making, you know, a lot of times when I'm trying to move forward or navigate career things or make these transitions in my own life, to be able to call a female friend of mine who's also a role model of mine, like when do you get that mixture of best friend and role model in one? And that's really special to me. And so I'm able to call her and she is my biggest cheerleader, the first to be like, say no to this if it doesn't align with you. Absolutely not. This is what you should be doing. No, you know that you're stronger than this. So it's just that call for me, that affirmation of strength. You've always been there for me in that way, Ari, and I just can't say enough how grateful I am for it.
Ari,
Yeah.
and what do you seek Paloma for advice for?
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, some of the things I can't tell you about. Trust, but
We have lots of those calls that we can't.
lots of them. You know, Paloma's very grounding for me, you know, and I feel like when I need like not the word's not indifferent, an objective ear, I call Paloma, you know. We're both wild childs in our own right, but you know, sometimes I'm like, am I too wild right now? What's going on here? Or this I gosh, I can tell you I'm kind of socially awkward, and you know, Paloma's a social butterfly. So typically I'll call and be like, so this interaction happened and did this go well or not? How can I, you know, how can I make myself a little more, I don't know, approachable? Anything? Did I totally lose my shit for no reason? But and then I also in turn call her when I'm like, should I make this decision business wise? Is this sound? You know, we're both that springboard for each other. That is for sure.
We're also those like, we're like, it's 1 a.m. Like we're always like across the room from each other. We're like, wake up, girl. Let's pick up your phone.
Yeah, because I'm in New York most of the time and she's in LA most of the time. Or recently I was in the UK and she was like, I'm in New York. And I was just like, well, I don't care what time it is. I need
You said
you.
lights up, girl. You said lights up.
Lights up. Let's go.
Wrong movie.
Yeah.
Is it, you know, Paloma, you said it's pretty rare to have relationships like this in the industry. Ariana, what do you think?
I do think it's rare. I mean, unfortunately, but and Paloma also said that she thinks it's changing, and I do agree with that as well. But I will say there, especially amongst females, there is an air of competition. But I also think that's by virtue of the industry not making enough space. Sometimes there's just not enough roles, quote unquote. And I actually don't believe that to be true. You know, the more we move forward, you know, the more inclusion that we actually find within the community, then there is more opportunity. But because there was an overwhelming sense that there was only one spot, you know, it made it hard for women, especially, to really connect. And then sometimes there are generational differences as well. Nobody wants to feel like someone's coming up and taking their gig. And now I think there's a real sense that no, there is space for everyone. And what makes you different is what makes you powerful and valid. And we thankfully, I'm seeing so many women validate that in each other and encourage each other to go forth and prosper mightily. Yeah, that's what I think about that.
Yeah, I think it's so real too that I'm seeing now more than ever. Like I said, I really think our generation is changing it, of the feeling of like my success is your success, is our success, is our future generation's success. And so
That
it's
one,
we're,
what she
we're
said.
yeah, we're like grabbing each other and lifting each other up now. And I haven't seen that before. Like, we're the first to be saying each other's names in rooms, be helping each other get experiences, and being like, ooh, I'm in this room that maybe you're not at yet, but let me say your name and bring you up to this room. And there's this
Right.
kind of beautiful supportive ladder going on now that, I've always felt in our friendship and relationship as well, that it's just, again, like maintaining that grounded sense of there is room for all of us here, and there's room for all of us to also be each other's biggest fans. Like, it's no longer really in to be like, ooh, I'm just so fancy and too cool for you. It's like, ooh, I'm so fancy, come celebrate. Like, it's a
Come
different.
celebrate, and then
Yeah.
also be fancy with me.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, watching the two of you together on social media, which is the only way I've seen it, is like so uplifting. And I'm always telling Paloma, where's someone uplifting me? So I'm glad that the two of you have it. What is the nicest thing that each of you have said to each other?
I feel like
Here, go
every
ahead.
time I talk to you, I don't know. Every time I talk to you, she's literally lifting me up, especially right now, this process has been amazing and wonderful. But it also has its own set of challenges. And there have been some moments where I didn't know that I needed to hear that, either a compliment or just like, hey, you're human. I love you. You're good. And she always comes through with that. And I'm really grateful. So for me, it's like an all the time thing.
That's literally how I feel too. It's the constant reminders. Like, I mean, I can think of like 15 things that have always stood out to me, but it's that moment where like somehow we're just in tune with what the other needs, even if that's a text, even if one of us is busy or any of that. It's just that moment of like, hey, I love you and I see you and I'm here if you need anything. And like, it is, I will pick up the phone at 4. I will, for no one else in my life, but like when she calls, I get up. Like, and that's what friendship is. I feel like I've learned so much about friendship, and friendship through success, and friendship through these journeys, and friendship through, two women,
Yeah.
who come up together in this industry, now chasing their dreams in a new way, on a new level, and who are committed to remaining supportive and like grounding friends for each other.
And just on a quick note, like something that our journeys do share is, we're both making the transition from the Broadway stage to the movie screen, right? And that is, it's not a singular journey, but it's a journey that not many women make successfully, unfortunately. But it's been really lovely for me to go through it with her. And I will tell you, when I first started choosing to go after larger roles or things that were not dance based, Paloma was one of the first women to text me, who was a peer, to say, you know what, go for it. Do not accept discounts. Keep pushing, because if you are successful, then I will be successful. And if you can do it, that means there's space for me too. I've never forgotten that, because I'll be honest, there was not a warm reception necessarily from members of my community when I did start saying that I wanted to even try for more. Because unfortunately, the idea around that is that, oh, what you have is not good enough, or you need to leave the ensemble in order to find success. And that's inherently not true. But why can't you be successful in one thing and still try for something else? Right? It's a very odd thing that we sometimes put each other down, as opposed to celebrating the fact that someone is trying something new. And if that person is successful in and of itself, it means that there is a way and space for other people to be successful. So I was very, very grateful to have found Paloma during that time and to have her support and friendship.
I literally am tearing up. I remember reaching out for that, and especially now seeing me exactly like we're on a very similar journey in different
Doing
spaces
the
of
same thing.
yeah, but it's like right now I'm facing that moment of like I have made the choice to want more and to expand myself and not even want more, actually go after the things I've always wanted that I maybe have been afraid or what will people think or people are going to think I think I'm better, that I'm going like all of these insecurities that pop up. And that's the thing. So now I have Ari in my life and like that is, circling back to your previous question, like a lot of my calls are like I was offered this thing, but that doesn't really align with my values anymore. But I don't know what to do. What do I do? And then exactly. And now I'm getting a like, no, you go for it. You go for it and you say no and you show up and you go after all the things that you want because it is possible. And when you have someone so close to you that shows you that it is possible, it's just like the most uplifting thing ever. I'm emotional now.
We're both emotional.
Now we're going to cry.
This is so sweet. I knew it was going to be a great chat. Ariana, something totally different that you haven't talked about in the entire junket, right, of interviews. And I'm told to have to wrap. So I'm glad we were able to do this. And I love
me
both of you
too.
so much.
Thank you so much for doing this. I'm so glad we made this happen. It's going to be a beautiful article. Thank you for championing this story. Thank you so much.
Yes.